Hi, and welcome back to Recapify. Today I am going to recap the movie titled Oblivion. Oh, don't forget to subscribe and leave a like. Let's start our movie recap. The last pair on Earth discovers a girl, and we see a gorgeous, handsome man staring at a gorgeous woman on the crowded streets of New York. These are Jack Harper's nightmares after volunteering for memory erasure. It's 2077, and Jack Harper is a drone technician living in a tower high above the clouds. He's living with his assigned partner, Victoria. They aren't the last people on Earth after all. The Earth was destroyed by aliens known as the Scavengers who wanted the Earth's resources. The Scavengers destroyed the Earth's moon, causing natural disasters and global devastation. Then invaded it. Humans were forced to use nuclear weapons. Well, at least they won't destroy the Earth. The majority of the Earth is now a radioactive wasteland, and the remaining human population has relocated to Titan, one of Saturn's moons, while a select few inhabit the Tet, a giant spaceship in orbit around Earth. Huge machines are drawing up seawater to suck up energy for humanity's new home, and Jack's job is to scout the surface during the day and repair the drones. These are spherical flying robots designed to detect and eliminate any remaining scabs on Earth. Meanwhile, Victoria must remain inside the tower as his coordinator, receiving mission objectives from Sally, the mission commander on the Tet. That sounds like a lot of work for two people. At least the job will be done in 2 weeks. 2 drones are down, so Jack flies to repair them while Victoria successfully coordinates the Michigan Titan. The poor man gets a lightning strike in his flying ship, and it looks like he will die. Jack finds a draw on what was the Super Bowl stadium and repairs drone number 166. Jack shares with Victoria what he read about the last Super Bowl game in 2017. He encounters a dog and spooks it away before drone number 166 fully recovers. Lucky one, the pump was almost killed. The aliens that were hiding all that time in the stadium have retreated, and someone is being watched. Meanwhile, Jack feels moody about leaving the Earth soon. He's a conservative and loves hanging around what was his home before the massive Chernobyl accident. Victoria here doesn't care that there are no shopping malls left on Earth. Jack takes his bike and searches for the last drone on foot. He finds it in a sinkhole. Jack goes inside what was once the New York Public Library. He loses contact with Victoria but finds the drone. Oops, it's a trap. Jack is attacked by scabs but manages to escape using his skills and pure luck. Not back in the library with no gun left, Jack pulls out his pistol and prepares to be penetrated. But look, who's that number 166? She arrives just in time to save his human butt, destroying all the aliens. Jack gets out, managing to grab a random book before leaving the library. Don't forget to return it within a month. The book is full of poetry, something about Horatius' darn bad luck. I was hoping for rich dad. Poor dad. Jack to return to the tower and give Victoria the flower he found. Thanks, Jack, I'll throw it away now, Moody. Actually, she did it because there were some regulations and they were only 2 weeks away from completing their mission. She doesn't want to touch toxic plants. This morning, classic woman moment during the dinner. Jack shares his thoughts about aliens. It seems they weren't trying to kill him but rather catch him, then clap him or kill possibly, but our boy is tired of Victoria being the only woman on Earth. So deep down, he probably wants it. Victoria fights for her man by having a sassy swim in the pool. It's a good attempt, but Jack keeps getting flashbacks of a mysterious girl he knew before the war, but no time for dreaming. A huge mushroom explosion up on the horizon. Did the friendly CSGO players finally decide to strike us? But it's just a water machine that exploded. Jack gets a beacon signal from the bombed-out Empire State Building and goes there to investigate. They discover the signal's coded coordinates are for nothing particular that Jack believes. It's the work of scabs and cuts it. He then tells Victoria that he'll do some perimeter checks around the border where the radiation zone meets the safe area. Oh yeah, classic perimeter check. Dad used to do those too for years. Then I found out I got a brother named Juanito in Mexico. Jack visits his secret house by lake in a lush green valley hidden away from view. Now I see why he doesn't want to go to Titan. He falls asleep chilling on the grass and awakens to see objects parachuted down from sky. They crash land right on the coordinates from the transmission he saw before he flies to investigate, although Victoria and the commander ordered him not to. He finds humans in Delta sleep pods scattered around the wreck, and one of them is the girl from his dreams. Lucasir, Mr. 166, arrives and begins destroying all of the pods. I guess they don't follow ASIMO's rules. But Jack manages to save a pod with his dream girl by acting as a shield since 166 is programmed not to terminate him. The aliens watch from a distance as Jack takes the pod back to the tower where Victoria manages to wake the woman from deep sleep. The girl wakes up, vomits, calls Jack by his name, and falls asleep. That's what my last club visit looked like. We find out the girl's name is Julia, and she's been sleeping for 60 years now, so she fell asleep before the war. Victoria is not happy at all. She smells competition. What can I say when there are only 2 women on Earth? Competition is indeed intense. Jack reveals he remembers Julia. Bad idea, you're only escalating the situation. They go to sleep, but Jack feels an itchy feeling somewhere. Goes up to Julia. The girl says she needs to get to the ship, so Jack follows her orders like a pup without telling Victoria. Oh, she's furious. After they receive the data recorder, Jack realizes they're surrounded by scabs. Too late. Boom, unconscious. Sends the aircraft back to the tower just before passing out when reporting to Ted. Victoria requested Joan's cat in the missing area without actually saying what happened. Smart move maybe, or maybe the call for backup would be a smarter one. Jack wakes up tied to a chair, and suddenly Morgan Freeman reveals himself and starts a monologue about the Earth, the cosmos, and black holes. Nah, just joking. He just reveals that the scabs are not aliens but humans, and drones are programmed to kill the remaining humans, not aliens. So humans have to wear alien costumes and imitate their voices to confuse the drones. And guess the worst news, the real aliens are inside their test. Shocker, the leader of the scabs is actually the leader of the human resistance, and he needs Jack's help. They have a stolen drone and 10 power cells from other drones they have brought down. They also scavenged the weapons-grade plutonium power cores from the wrecked ships like the one Julia was on. Humans turned the stolen drone into a nuclear bomb, and now they hope to destroy the Tet with it. As a skilled drone technician, they hope for Jack's help to reprogram the drone. Great story, bro, but Jack still has doubts and thinks there are humans on tap. Well, too bad the not aliens aren't that patient, so they bring Julia and aim a gun at her. They almost shoot when the drone searching for Jack arrives with problems. Humans manage to take them down. The beach releases Jack and Julia, saying that he will find the truth in the forbidden radiation zone. The two ride Jack's motorcycle, but it runs out of fuel, so they hike to the Empire State Building, where Jack manages to signal Victoria, who sends the aircraft to pick them up. While they're both waiting, Jack asks Julia who she is. Oh, you'll love it. Turns out they were both from the spacecraft Odyssey, and she is his real wife. Julia tells how they were standing together on this balcony when Jack proposed to her, and he clearly remembers it. They hug just as the aircraft arrives. Victoria sees it all. Jack and Julia fly to the tower, asking Jack not to report to Ted before arriving. What would an upset and jealous Victoria do? Of course, she messages Sally saying she and Jack are no longer in effect. This works like some kind of command. Suddenly, the damaged drone that Jack had kept in the tower for repairs activates to terminate the failed maintenance team. What have you done, woman? Well, Jack could have been more gentle too. He tries to explain everything to Victoria, but too late. Vaporized Jack is the next to get clapped, but his wife shoots the drone with the aircraft gun. Sally tries to reason with Jack, but he now doesn't fall for the alien tricks and flies away with Julia, ending their life of freedom, and soon they get chased by 3 other drones. We've been such good friends. The chase has them flying through a lightning storm and into a canyon using human tricks. Jack manages to destroy 2 of them, however, and then crashes into a sandy desert in the radiation zone. Jack realizes he's not boiling alive and doesn't have a third leg growing out of him except for the one he's already used to, so the radiation zone is a bluff. Let's go to Chernobyl now. He also hears the beep of a broken drone just over the next sand dune. When he gets there, Jack witnesses another technician in an identical aircraft land to fix the drone, so there's another guy in here. Thinking there were only 2 people left on the planet, Jack confronts the technician. Wait a second, that's another Jack. The clone gets distracted by Julia, and the 2 Jacks get in a fight. Too late, Julia gets shot in the stomach. Jack defeats the clone and deactivates the drone right on time. Jack uses Clone 52's plane to go to 52's tower. Oh, look who they're, Victoria. He is stunned but tricks Victoria to believing that he is her. Jack saves Julia and gets her to the lake house. The last thing needed for a perfect picture is here, so we can chill and enjoy life. Meanwhile, Sally sends another 3 drones after Jack while he works on the drone, and Beach tells the story of how he survived those 60 years after the war. Well, not everyone had a good sleep in memory elimination. Sometimes I wish I would so. The drone gets programmed to fly into Tet with nuclear bombs inside. Humans are ready to send it, but oops, 3 drones arrive and attack the humans. Through timings are always the best or the worst depending on whose side you're on. I'm Team Alien. Managed to kill the drone, but with huge losses. Most people are clapped. Beach is mortally wounded, and the worst news, the captured drone is no longer functional. The fuel cells remain intact though, so the team decides the only way they can still send a nuclear Trojan horse is by hiding it in a Delta sleeper Julia and making Jack bring it to the Tet. Self-delete mission. Hold my beer, says Jack, and goes for it. On the way to the Tet, Jack listens to the data recorder recovered from the Odyssey. He hears himself as the Odyssey pilot approaching the Tet in 2017. First contact the day after the Super Bowl. Super Bowl. Victoria is the co-pilot, and Julia is one of the crew members. They were being guided by the real Sally, a NASA lady. The memory gets interrupted by the alien Sally, who asks why Jack is approaching the tent. He plays along, saying he's delivering Julia as ordered. It works like a charm. In a flashback, the Odyssey began to accelerate uncontrollably towards its head to save the crew and Julia. Jack released the back shuttle with the Delta sleep pods, so only he and Victoria headed towards the Tet. In the present, Jack is allowed to enter the Tet, the alien ship. Sally is suspicious and questions Jack's motives for coming. It smells of lies and nearly destroys him, so Jack truthfully says he wants the human race to survive. Jack is allowed to proceed further inside to deliver Julia, and we see a multitude of clones of himself and Victoria growing in pods. Jack opens the Delta Sleep pod in the alien's presence and sees a large floating pyramid object with a red laser eye in the center. And look who's there, Morgan Freeman. Realizing this is a trap, the aliens summon drones to destroy them. The Jack and Beach detonate the fuel cells. Julia wakes up by the lake house and witnesses the TED explode spectacularly in the sky and weeps. A beautiful way to save the world. 3 years later, Julia has a daughter and is living in the lake house. She and the daughter then see members of human resistance. A figure then walks out of the crowd. It's Jack Harper. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a like.